Anyway, I'm very excited to be here with you, and thank you for being so understanding with this Zoom time changes. You can get like several invitations from me that was not at the right time, but definitely the people who are here are the right people. And we will have a very good kickoff by the keynote by the representative of two excellent organizations, which I think going to fit very nicely in this conversation that we will have today. So we have Michal and Emilia, if you want to reveal yourself also. But so Michal is revealed and Emilia is also revealed. Those are Michal is from Newcomers Forward. He already put the information in the chat. Emilia is from Youth Business International, which is the global network of experts supporting youth in the business. And I invited them today to talk, to say a little bit about their organizations and what they are doing. So maybe Michal, we can start with you. If you can just kick us off a little bit about your organization, and Emilia, then we will go to you, and there will be a time for questions and answer. Maybe just a little bit about this group. This is the group of experts and people interested in working on the issues of migration and how to support the integration, the entrepreneurship journeys, integration, and any sort of initiatives that are being developed with migrants. I know that there is a lot of research already that it has been developed on the different fora, but the purpose of this group to make connections. So to have also microfinance practitioners sharing the organizations that are the business development organization for migrants and for the marginalized group to share, and to try to find some joint areas of interest and maybe develop some projects together. So this is the short introduction about the group. And Michal, now the floor is yours. I will try to pin you that you are the main focal point of my screen, at least, hopefully.
Nice. Thank you, Kasia. Hello, everybody. Thanks for the nice introduction, Kasia, as well. And yeah, just to maybe reinforce the point, I think it's so nice to get together and make connections and also talk about how we can all help newcomers or people with refugee migrant, because I think, yeah, with these collaborations, that's how we can achieve the better impact. Kasia, you could co-host.
I'm trying to find how to make you a co-host of this event, but unfortunately I am not. Well, just give me a second.
No worries. Yeah, in the meantime, maybe I can introduce myself already.
Okay, so you are a co-host now, and then I make Emilia as well a co-host.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I'll share my little slide deck. I'm not sure if you can see my screen now. I think so. Okay, so hello everybody again. My name is Michael, or Michal, and I work for Forward Inc. And we are on the side that Kasia mentioned, the business development side of migrant businesses. So we empower, we say, newcomer entrepreneurs, and our target group, we define them as asylum seeker, but also migrants from non-OECD countries that come to Europe or are forcibly displaced within their own country as well. Yeah, so, and today I'll tell you a little bit about what we do, and also a little bit in terms of, or in the scope of microfinancing, because I think this is will be the most interesting for this group. If you have any questions or if something is not clear, please feel free to raise your hand or type in the chat. I'll try to keep an overview over that. Okay, so who are we? As I said, we are an organization that empowers newcomer entrepreneurs to build, launch, and grow their businesses. And we are based in Amsterdam. We have another office in Rotterdam. So we are Netherlands-based, but operate internationally. So our participants come from all over the world, mostly from the MENA region and recently little bit more from Ukraine as well, of course. We believe that the incredible talent, of course, the grit and resilience of refugee, and see entrepreneurship as a way to integrate refugees within the labor market, but not in a way that many public institutions do it, where there's underemployment and refugees are overqualified for the job that they're making. But we see entrepreneurship as a way to craft their desired position at the host country. And we aspire to be by 2026 biggest leading organization in entrepreneurship for refugees. So these are our goals. And now, what do we do and how do we do it? So as I said, we empower newcomer entrepreneurs to build, or to start, build, and grow their businesses. And we do it from as early as an ideation state within our digital entrepreneurship program, DEP, as you can see the yellow bubble on the screen. And this is just like a business/entrepreneurship course where we provide some first theoretical and practical knowledge over that. Then we have Forward Incubator, where we provide a team. Actually, in the business terms, this would be more of a pre-incubator, because the main point of the FI program is to validate the idea of the entrepreneurs. So then we have volunteers, where we have professional coach and also student consultants. So those are volunteers that are students here in the Netherlands, and they would like to just give some time to do a lot of groundwork, so market testing, but also customer interviews, experimentation, and so on and so on. And then there's a growth program where we focus more on marketing and sales strategies. And Forward Accelerator, I think the most relevant to this group, where we focus on investor readiness. We also have a mentorship program where we cooperate with other stakeholders in the environment, for example, corporate partners like Coca-Cola, and try to also educate them on the needs of those newcomers, and making sure that the transition to the economic inclusion is both from the newcomer side as well as the market side. Nice. Okay. We have been growing, so we are 5 years old, and since then we have launched 113 startups and trained almost 1,000 newcomers now, so we're close to a big celebration. Almost 66% of our newcomers become economically independent, which is also the number that we're really proud of. I think strengths of Forward Inc. as an organization is also the large community that I will maybe expand on a little bit more. And maybe what's relevant for this group as well is that our startups that we worked with have raised almost 3 million euro in capital collectively, which is also something that we are quite proud of. Just for so you see the scope of our operations, this is where our participants come from. Due to the corona pandemic, of course, we were able to take a lot of stuff online. So now we are able to help people from sub-Saharan Africa while being based in the Netherlands. MENA region, of course, but also Indonesia, as you can see, or South America, some individuals. So really operating on a large scale, but all the operations on the ground are here in the Netherlands. Now about this capital raising. So 34 of our startups have raised capital, and I will give 2 examples in a second. I think what is important to say here is that we are a non-for-profit organization, so we are not a commercial accelerator like Rockstart, maybe you have heard of it, also based in the Netherlands. So we do not take any equity, nor we give investment to the startup that we work with. But what we focus on is really the BD side, so the business development side, and helping with investor readiness, providing our network, connecting, but also, as you probably know, it starts from really like small tasks. So making sure that the financial records are in order, that the business model is proven sound, that there is a marketing strategy in place, that there's sales strategy, so that our startups are investor ready. And yeah, an example of one of the startups that we worked with that have actually raised 320K recently is Mojahed Akil. Yeah, and he has an app called Joan app, and that's basically an app for restaurants to grow and expand their delivery services. So they do many things, including like marketing, sales, but also cloud kitchens. So for those of you who don't know, the cloud kitchen is just a kitchen restaurant basically just for delivery. And this is what Mojahed does. And he does raise this in convertible loans from many different angel investors, but also due to our work on his business model and so on. And more recently, Ali from Help Those. This is a like a website solutions company, especially focusing on health and wellness sector. And he has recently raised 35,000 euros. So in total, he has raised 40,000 investment, but 35,000 euros worth through our network. So through Wing Invest, which is a VC based here in Netherlands as well, that we collaborate with. And yeah, we basically facilitated the whole process and also helped on both Ali's side and Wing Invest side. Yeah, and if there is yeah, this is also in convertible loans, just maybe also interesting for this. If you're curious what other companies we work with, then there's alumni. Maybe I can follow up with this small slide deck. And maybe super quickly, just go over our partners. So something we are really proud of is that we collaborate with many different companies, companies or foundations, organizations, institutions, and so on. We are also super happy to expand this network. So please, if you're interested in what we do, or you see that you could contribute or have some comment, please reach out to me. That would be really nice. So my details are in the chat, I think, already. But yeah, we have quite vast network here in Netherlands, including large contributions from our volunteers, coaches, professionals, but also student consultants, right? So last year we had almost 22,000 voluntary hours, which is quite huge. And yeah, also in terms of volunteers, maybe to put it on the map, we are present internationally or globally. Yeah, and those are some of our partners. If you're also interested about who we collaborate with or what we do, then please also you can reach out to me. Okay, so if you have any questions to me or about forward operations, what we do, or how you would like to collaborate, please feel free to reach out. You can reach me through that email or that phone. And yeah, and now maybe it's also good to have some time for follow-up questions.
Thank you very much, Michal. It was really interesting to learn more about what you are doing. As of course, I knew already that because we have a few conversations of your focus, but it's very impressive to actually see it on the map of how much input you have. So maybe some questions right now from the attendees before we move to Emilia. Anybody would like to ask some question? I don't see any hands raised. Maybe everybody is just so speechless afterwards. So I think that. Sorry, I didn't hear who would like to.
Sorry, hi. This is Emma Paul. Sorry, I'm from the. Hi, I can't see how to raise my hand. I don't know why. I seem to have lost the the option. Thank you. I'm from the European Investment Bank, and I had just a couple of questions on the presentation, which was really interesting. Firstly, you mentioned Rockstart in the presentation. What's the relationship with Rockstart? And because it's an entity that we work with in one of our programs. And the other question I had was to do with how you roll out your programs. Is the majority of the coaching, let's say, done in the Netherlands, or are you also doing a lot of online? You said you do online courses as well, so can people access it from anywhere?
Yeah, thanks, Emma. Yeah, thanks for all the questions. Firstly, maybe a rock start. Yeah, we are quite happy with the collaborations that we have with them. So we are now building, actually, or already built. Are under work in progress. Let's say under construction of new program, new stars, and this is with also from supported by the Dutch RVO, so the Dutch entrepreneur. What do you call it? Institution, yeah, so we got a subsidy for that, and now we are collaborating together. So using their knowledge and our knowledge to come up with a new program for newcomers, yeah, which is, I think, really exciting because they're quite big and have big know-how. And regarding our online presence, yeah, I think I don't have the data now how many of our participants are online and are not, but I think around 50% were outside of Netherlands for the last year. So quite big, and yes, then all the workshops in all our programs are online. Most of the events also are in an online setting or hybrid setting with some, for example, now we have an event with ABN AMRO about the investor readiness, and then that would be on the side and at their headquarters in Amsterdam. So yeah, so it depends, but most of the events are available from different places, not only from Netherlands based. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, great, thanks.
Yeah, and can I follow up? Sorry, I'm John Afonso from the European Microfinance Platform. Thank you, Michael, for the presentation and the two examples you've shown us. I was curious a bit about who are these newcomers that you work with in terms of ages, literacy levels, in terms of previous experience, in terms of entrepreneurship. Are these people that have experienced before or are completely new to the process? Just a bit more on that to try to understand and the second part is, how do you reach them? How does a newcomer knows that you exist?
Nice. Yeah, really good question, Joanna. So firstly, yeah, the target group is quite diverse because yeah, we also have, as I described at the beginning, the newcomer is quite diverse word as well, and we accept a lot of people within our programs. So there's people who have received higher education and for example, have started a business before but had to flee because of wars or internal conflict, and now don't have the safety net here in Netherlands, so need some support, especially with network. But there's also, and then the businesses are quite big. So for example, HelloDose and GrowUp, those are examples of quite big ventures. But yeah, I would say majority, maybe not majority, but around half of our participants are also smaller businesses, smaller ventures, catering businesses, or small boutiques, stuff like that, just to kind of create your own employment within the new host country. I am happy to also follow up with some of more of our alumni if you're interested in having a look. And sorry, the second question, I think I already lost it.
How do you reach the yes? How do you?
Nice. Yeah, so also quite diverse pool. So we try to collaborate quite closely with our target group. So some of our alumni are actually part of our team now on a volunteer basis. And then we do a lot of recruitment through them. And that includes, for example, one of our alumni, Noir. She is from Syria, lived in Lebanon, and has a vast network there. Also collaborated with Spark, an organization. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but yeah, so they help us a little bit there, and we recruit from there. But in here in the Netherlands, yeah, many different channels, but including also, as it says, so refugee centers, so welcoming centers, yeah, through universities, for higher skill migrant or for students who come here. Yeah, so diverse ways of recruiting, I would say, and also alumni as our very important, I think, channel to get new participants.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jana.
Great. Do we have any other questions to Michal? No, I don't see the hands, but before I also haven't seen the hands, so maybe that's not the indication. Michal, thank you very much. I think it was great to have you here today doing this presentation with us. And now I will ask Emilia to give us more insight to her organization. And then I hope that we can have this conversation jointly with other parts.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. So I work for Youth Business International, and we are a collection of entrepreneur support organizations who will support young people to start, scale, and sustain their businesses. We operate in around 50 countries across the world, and in Europe, about 10 organizations are part of the network. Some of these organizations are microfinance organizations. Some work really closely with microfinance institutes, and some are just solely business development support providers. These organizations, we call them members. So our members deliver a holistic package of support to young people around personal development, business development, and creating an enabling ecosystem. Just to clarify, for youth, what we mean is anyone between 18 and 35. Now, YBI, which is where I work, is a platform for all these ESOs to connect, to identify gaps in youth entrepreneurship, to conduct research and collaborate around these issues, and co-create new solutions. So this could be trainings, different products, different sort of checklists, etc., etc. We then share these products across the network, supported by peer community groups, by trainings, by trainers. And so the way that we kind of think about it is that YBI improves the capacities and capabilities of the ESOs in the network, which in turn improves the outcomes for young people. So YBI's focus is to ensure that anyone who wants to start a business or needs to start a business can fulfill that dream. Our efforts are particularly focused on marginalized young people, and that differs across the different countries where we work, but it is people not in education and employment. It is youth on the move, people in rural communities, people with disabilities, women entrepreneurs, and Indigenous communities. And we want to also make sure that we are supporting young people's ambitions. And at the moment, that is really around the sort of responsible business agenda. So we've been producing a lot of tools together with our members that focus on how to have positive outcomes for social and green businesses, how to ensure that you're got decent work practices within your business, and how to make sure that even if your business doesn't have a social or green mission, you still can have a sustainable and responsible business in terms of its environmental footprint and practices. If you are interested in finding out more about YBI or joining the network, I will share a link to that details the criteria about what you're required to join and the next steps. So why are we talking today? Well, we are actually embarking as a network in Europe around 2 programs that will be looking at how to support people from refugee communities, youth on the move is what kind of how we phrase it. We are just kind of working on the proposals at the moment. And one of them is around, based on sort of discussions we've had with Kasia and the Microfinance Centre for Inspiration, is around how to enable and to champion young people from refugee communities who to make a positive contribution to the economic development of Europe around social and green ambitions, because we have heard kind of reports that young people from refugee communities are often pigeonholed or sort of kettled into specific industries, and how to sort of profile these young entrepreneurs who are making an extraordinary contribution to Europe around social and green businesses, but maybe haven't had that exposure to what that means or that support that what that means. And so we're looking at like an accelerator, a social impact accelerator to help those young people. And then the second is about, again, thinking about the positive contribution that young people from refugee communities can make through employment and entrepreneurship, but mainly entrepreneurship, because that's what we do. In, I think it's 8 different markets. And so providing just general business development support services, making strong connections to microfinance institutes, or through sort of financial literacy, financial signposting, actual connections to local microfinance institutes, but also then how we can showcase the fact that the effective work that we're doing around youth entrepreneurship at the start, the actual positive contribution that these young entrepreneurs are making to European communities, and sort of the promotion of social cohesion. So that's kind of what we are working on at the moment. I just wanted to talk it through rather than give a presentation. There are loads of other things that YBI does, and you can look at it on our website, but I will leave it there for any questions that you have.
Great, thank you very much. I think it's as also with your Business International, we had a lot of conversation about, you know, what can we do and how we can actually make a better or bigger impact together on by joining forces and to looking at the different aspects of how to support the migrant entrepreneurs and migrant youth. I don't know if there are any questions from the participants. Also, please start by asking questions because the hands probably are not working. Oh, there is a one hand, Michal.
Yes, I'll support Emilia as my fellow speaker. Okay, so Mike, I have actually two questions. So one, just in terms of operations. So how many enterprises do you support on a yearly basis? Maybe if, sorry, that's I'm throwing the
Sure,
number
that's
question.
right.
And yeah.
About 146,000 a year collectively across the network. I think it was slightly less this year, the 120,000. And the way that we work, it's about 35,000 businesses are strengthened and 18,000 businesses are started, but that's just in that year. But that's across all the 50 different organizations that we work with across the network. Yeah, wow, so impressive. And then a follow-up question. So maybe how is YIB founded? Sure. There is not enough time to go through all our history because we're founded from the Prince's Trust. There's the Prince Charles, who's now the King, and what then happened is that it started off working mainly in Commonwealth countries to really support entrepreneurship as a means to economic development, and then we decided to branch out on our own and say, let's give it a go. And we've been around since 2000, incorporated 2008 on our own.
Thanks. Thank you, Emilia.
Great, thank you. Lena? Your hand is up, but I don't know if you can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. Maybe you can start.
Okay. Sorry. I would be interested to know from both Emilia and Michal how your partnership or collaboration with microfinance institutions is progressing. We know from the financial side that some of the financial service providers have been reluctant to engage with these newcomers or different marginalized groups from elsewhere in particular. And obviously BDS is often sort of looked at as a linkage or a potential way for financial institutions to also gain customers. But I'd be interested to hear from you how your relationship with these institutions have progressed, and whether you are beginning to glean some sort of good practices around how we can improve these partnerships. Thanks.
Sure. Michal, is it okay if I go first? Because well, lovely. Okay. So the way that we partner with microfinance institutes is different across all our different operations. Some of our members are actually microfinance institutions themselves, so they deliver the BDS and they deliver the grants or the loan systems themselves, and so they can offer more tailored products to more marginalized young people, which is in their portfolio. I would say that I hear a lot from microfinance institute providers that BDS is very important, but they're not going to pay for it, which always, as the majority BDS provider, always riles me a bit. But I think that there is definitely something that can be done in the partnership, and we're actually exploring opportunities and kind of collecting evidence around what is the cost of that BDS and whether that can be applied to that loan in some sort of way to make it actually a package of support provided to make a strong linkage, because there is very strong evidence out there that BDS mentoring, sort of specific training or guidance and advice can actually help improve the repayments of the loans and then the success of that business. There are different models of how this works. We've got some countries where the microfinance and our member are like best of friends, and they provide a pipeline basically. So anybody who's been through the BDS training is automatically considered as lower risk because they have completed this training, and then they've got a good business model for investment. So there are lots of different ways, and we are looking at sort of creating a more structured mapping of our financial inclusion approach, which includes access to finance, which then includes sort of how that the linkages are through microfinance institutes and providers. If you think about like financial signposting or sort of like the pitch competitions, or even just kind of one of the things that we find, especially with young people, is even getting them to understand that actually a loan isn't necessarily what they need right now. They need to either work better on their business plan, their business model. They need to sort out something else internal, because often young people just think that that loan is the solution, and then that also has an impact because they go to the loan providers, they don't get it, or they do get it, and then it's a failed process. So we're doing a lot of work around that at the moment.
Yeah, thanks, Emilia. I think I have much less to say about our collaboration with microfinance institutions, because what our approach is more to prepare the businesses to be investor ready, and then once they are, the investment and the capital will come. So we do that. Also, we collaborate, of course, with commercial partners like ABN AMRO or Wing Invest, as I mentioned before, but not on the institutional public level. Yet, at least, we are hoping to look into that in the future. But I think a really important point that Emilia mentioned is that, yeah, a lot of those businesses, especially at the very early stage, do not require investment, or even it hinders the way the business works, because, yeah, there's a lot to figure out before, and there's a loan, equity, or yeah, convertible loan, whatever there is. Yeah, before they start financing. So yeah, as I said, our approach is more to prepare the business, get the operations in order, get the business model in order, establish like long-term sales strategy, marketing strategies, and then once the business is growing, then the capital will come. But of course, we are open to talk about this, and maybe our approach is not not the best, but in our 5 years of practice, this is what we've been doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I think there was a lot of very relevant points that were mentioned, including the business development services. We are currently, as a microfinance center, supporting the project under AMIF that it's looking at what actually could benefit the migrants integration. And it's a very strong case being built for the business development services as something that needs to be appropriately funded, and that needs to become the kind of integral part of a lot of considerations. So there will be a big reveal of the findings. So of course, I will keep you informed about when it happens, so you can be very informed about the needs and possible solutions. I don't know if there are any other questions to Michal or Emilia, or I can have some question to all of you, because I also going to use this group a little bit selfishly to kind of having such a esteem, you know, a quorum to check with you if you have any maybe ideas, or you work with any tools that allow for the assessment of what is needed in the migrants community, and how we can support the people. Do you, if any of you have any good practices knew about some organizations that are really working with or working for one of those organizations. I'm trying to pick up always very interesting speakers, which I think could be stimulating for the future consideration. But if you're already feeling that you are working for one of those organizations and you would like to share in this moment, I would be very happy to hear from you. Or if not, I have more questions, right? So that's, sorry, I don't see if.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, hi, Jürgen.
Very briefly, Jürgen Hammer, SPTF, Social Performance Task Force. Thank you for inviting me to this discussion. It's a topic that I, let's say, take care of with a lot of attention. So it's great to reconnect to the community here. SPTF is the microfinance network that has worked for 20 years on defining best management practices for social and environmental performance management. I'm saying that because what we are doing is we focus really on MFIs, on microfinance organizations, to help to provide them the tool with us in a standardized way. It's used in the entire industry, called Universal Standards and SPI. What SPI is a checkbox really of indicators that you want to check if to be sure that organizations have their mission in place, have good governance, protect their clients over indebtedness, issues like that. What I'm saying is, I'll put you the link in the box. It probably doesn't adapt directly to the cases we have heard here, but maybe if you want to get ideas on some questions you want to ask in partnerships that you develop about over indebtedness, client protection, some basic issues of responsible practices, including environment. It's free of access. You can check, you can download the standards, you can download the tool to see those indicators and maybe source some information, some issues out of there for your own work. So it's a more indirect relationship to the two presentations and the call for here, but I wanted to share what we are doing.
No, thank you very much for sharing. And please, if you can put it into the chat box, that
I'll do that right now, yeah.
That would be great. And you probably are going to be very happy to hear that I'm actually working on some indicators and the KPIs of what could be considered a good practices for MFIs to when they work with the migrants and refugees communities. So maybe there is also something that we could kind of explore together, because I prepared kind of a first draft, which I shared with the group, but I will still make it a little bit more user-friendly by to harvest your opinions and insight, and then I would like to have a short webinar / discussion on what could we consider as a good indicators in that regard. So this is a little spoiler from my side that this will be coming at some point. I don't know, anybody else would like to? No, I don't see. So maybe another thing I would like to ask you, if you, for example, if you have any experience or you developed yourself any programs for migrants or on refugees or any vulnerable group that focus on upskilling, reskilling, building bridges, so something that is typical for this BDS and not so much for microfinance, but I think, as it was mentioned before, it is really relevant for microfinance, some of the MFIs, to have this pipeline of kind of people who already have the skills and the necessary preparation. No. And would you consider it as a useful if, for example, there were proposal of something like this as the skills development and upskilling of migrants, or you're rather happy with that being done by some employment organization and not so much by in this ecosystem that we are trying to map a little bit? Okay.
Sorry, just to clarify the question, you mean, do you think it's something that microfinance institutions would be interested in developing internally to have this upskilling, this BDS services internally and upskilling their clients, or they would rather outsource it? I wasn't too sure of what the
I think it's
question.
for me the question is because we as microfinance there is a lot of focus of entrepreneurship and the solo entrepreneurs and kind of support like this, and there is for some organization work with the BDS is the relevant aspect, but I haven't seen a lot of cooperation between the organization that are focusing on the upskilling. And then I haven't seen them recommending the clients to microfinance institutions. So I was wondering in the world when we have a lot of the hybrid strategies, right? So we're not only looking at that people are going to employment or they becoming entrepreneurs, they also kind of start mixing it, especially with the gig economy. If there is maybe a need for something like this, so focus especially on skills. And if maybe anybody already is doing something like this. So that was more when I was trying to go with my very not clear question. Hopefully it's clearer now, but
thanks. I think it's really important. It's not a program or programs that I work on directly within the EIB, but I know we've had programs in the past in sub-Saharan Africa where we have looked at building networking groups specifically for women entrepreneurs, or really focusing on women entrepreneurs and building their capacity, and then feeding those that go through the training to institutions that we're working with. So try and have that almost like pipeline building, if you like, that we focus on these networks and provide BDS through that, and then make the linkages to the institutions themselves. And then another example is a program that I do work on in the Caribbean. We've done a lot of, we call them micro pitch events, where we work with people in different countries, well, let's say aspiring entrepreneurs who are excluded from traditional financial services, and help them. We offer some sort of BDS, but also how to better market their businesses, how to pitch their businesses. And then we run a competition where they have 3 minutes to pitch their business in front of different financial institutions. We did this a lot in Dominican Republic. And then it gives the microfinance institutions the opportunity to see all these new businesses that are coming, these micro enterprises, the budding entrepreneurs, and create relationships with them.
Thank you. That's super useful. I understand that there is always this public component, right? Because you are kind of like catalyst for the initiative. It's not coming from private sector or from NGOs. Or you're pairing up and you're kind of developing it together, and then you have.
And it's mainly that we're catalyzing it in those institutions. In some instances, we will work with a BDS provider. So we have a program in Eastern neighborhood that we were looking at doing in Georgia, but it hasn't gone forward just yet, where we were looking to work with a business development service provider themselves and increase their capacity to work with more rural-based clients and micro entrepreneurs, and work with them to link also them to the BDS provides to have more formal relationships with the microfinance institution. But that's in the pipeline. We haven't actually done that yet.
Okay, thank you. That's very interesting for me, because I know that there is also some under AMIF, there are some ideas of what could be those type of different setting on the skill. So I was wondering if that is already maybe tried outside Europe to see if there is anything that we can also maybe try to include inside Europe. So Emma, thank you very much. That's very useful information, and I might be following up with you at some point. I don't know, any last comments, wishes? What would you like for the next session? I know that I will be torturing you a little bit with the KPIs and the indicators, because I would really appreciate your help. And of course, I think that talking to expert is always very useful to get the feedback if the way of thinking is the right. And if you would like to kind of be a part of the workshop because you think that you have expertise and that it's something that that you would like to contribute to, please let me know. You have my email address, I think, all of you. And yeah, I think it's all for today. So Emilia, Michal, thank you very much again for introducing us to the wonderful work that you are doing. And I wish you all very good end of the week, and see you. Sure. You again, you show your video just to say goodbye to everybody, or
Goodbye.
Yes.
Don't worry.
So thank you very much, and see you soon. Thank you for this meeting today.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.